Brumbies are going to be the team to beat in Super Rugby AU. I think 27 points to 11. I know the Reds had a good win over the Tars last night as well. I've just got up and watched this game, Force and the Brumbies. It was on at midnight here in New Zealand, so I went to bed. Have just watched it, didn't know the result, but pretty good game, pretty high intensity. I'll go over the game itself, some key stats and whatnot, and you guys can let me know your thoughts on how it went. Good crowd. Good crowd. Very good crowd. Were they doing the social distancing thing? I'm assuming they were, because there did seem to be a distinct pattern to the way people were sitting slightly separated from each other. I'm assuming that's correct. And I know I saw on the Reds, like the Suncorp website, something about if you're not allowed to move from your seat if it rained. So I'm assuming with the COVID tracking and whatnot, you have to kind of find your seat and stay in your seat. I'm assuming it was the same in Perth, but looked beautiful on camera to see a pretty good crowd there to see the game, and they were treated not to a victory for their own side, but first Super Rugby game in Perth for a bloody long time, and a few tries and some fight from their side right till the final whistle. The Force actually started with 13 phases, heaps of pressure, ended up converting a penalty to put themselves in the lead 3-0. And if I was a Force fan looking back at this game, like, that's one of the few times they actually went down the Brumbies end and took points from the entry into the 22. Like, I would love to see a stat on how many points they got per entry into the 22, because I feel like the Force will knock it on the door for quite a lot of times, but too often didn't walk away with anything, which is maybe the difference in this game. The Brumbies had their own turn on 7 minutes down the other way. They went 9 phases. They also got a penalty, but they went for touch. They were kind of showing a bit of killer instinct. The Force had some great maul defense, though, because the Brumbies maul is a wicked beast. But the Force managed to stop the maul. They'd obviously prepared for it. The Brumbies did probably have enough space out wide to get a try, because the Force had committed a lot of guys to their maul, but their last pass was forward, so there was no try. There could have been. Eventually, they did get another penalty, and the next time they went for it to make it 3 points apiece. I should say that the Force did have one penalty go off the post before that, though. So eventually it's 3-3. I wrote a note saying the pace of this game is high. It was good. Really, I mean, like the first half of last night's, well, they're both last night, I guess. The first half of that Reds and Waratahs game, it was played at a high pace very early. 20 minutes, though, the first try comes. Lolesio, he goes into a gap which is just entirely too big. Nick White with a little shimmy draws in a man enough to make a gaping wide hole for Lolesio. He puts him straight through the gap. He goes up for a try, and suddenly the Force are behind. The Brumbies are in front, 10 points to 3. And I wrote another note saying the Force, too many penalties conceded and too many handling errors. First game of the season, so it's often the way of things with the handling errors and with just the lack of discipline or lack of execution. So, yeah, again, that's probably a bit of a tale of this one. 29 minutes, there was a hell of a moment. The Force get a turnover, and Medrano, the big Argentinian prop, ends up with the ball. He just puts the hammer down as much as he can. He dummies one of the Brumbies defenders. I think it's one of the locks. Keeps going. As he gets tackled, he offloads to Robertson, the other prop. So you got prop on prop action. It was fantastic stuff. They eventually got it to Lance, who put a big old kick in down the Brumbies end. And then when the Brumbies kicked it back, it was a poor kick to touch from Banks. I thought, maybe this is a switch of momentum. And then the Brumbies ended up getting a yellow card warning because they were conceding heaps of penalties of their own. And I thought, definitely this is the time when the Force can turn things around. The momentum had visibly shifted. At 32 minutes, they get an on-field try after a few phases of the line-out, but there ends up being no try. The ref calls it from the footage on the big screen saying, I forget who it was part of the ruck and then handled the ball. So penalty to the Brumbies, a bit of a get out of jail, and maybe a pretty costly moment for the Force. 33 minutes, the Force did manage to kick a penalty, though, to make it 6 points to 10. The Brumbies got one back, though, to make it 13-6 at halftime. So, yeah, pretty good viewing in the first half, and it continued from the second half, man. The Brumbies, proper amazing tries. Simone and Ikitau had a pretty bloody good game. Those guys are going to be quite the centre pairing going forward. I think it was Ikitau got the ball from Simone. Some Ikitau half beat kind of Tavirika and Drani, at least put them on the back foot. And then he got the ball back to Simone, who goes over for the try. 20 points to 6. It's looking like a long day at the office for the Force at that point. The Brumbies' execution is just a level better than the Force. I mean, these guys have been playing together a lot longer, so they should be. But it was pretty pleasing. If you're an Aussie rugby fan, it's nice to see all the teams doing well. But yeah, the Brumbies really look sharp. They did, however, get a yellow card though in 59 minutes. Again, they've been conceding a few penalties. The Force is setting a maul, and they drive in too early as the Force guy hasn't come to ground from the line out. And it's James Slipper who gets the card. And kind of like the missed chance for the Force on around half an hour with the denied try, this yellow card period is another big missed opportunity for the Force and a great bit of game management from the Brumbies, because with the extra man, the Force can convert absolutely no points. Yeah, it's like at one point they're mauling it up, and then the ball's kind of loose at the back, and I think Neville just reaches over and slaps it down. So yeah, the Force lose control of it. Just things like that, man. Like just the Force guys not being quite as sharp as the Brumbies guys. Yellow card finishes, no points like I mentioned. 71, the Brumbies get their bonus point try through Isaac Fines. He beats old Carney, who's had a pretty good game, I thought. He beats him for pace on the outside. Carney does manage to just get a hand to his leg to ankle tap him, but it's not enough to knock him over. And yeah, it's bonus point try, so 27 points to 6. Great conversion. Lolosio has a great day with the boot from the tee. But the Force, so happy for them, finally got a try on 76 minutes. They went close. They went 13 phases. There was no grounding, back for an offside penalty, and then they tapped it. Kubeli tapped it. They went 2 phases, and then finally it's actually Kubeli who gets the try. He just shaped to pass. Was it Samu that kind of was sold on it, and he just sniped over. Great little try from the Force. They missed the conversion, 27 points to 11. Takes away the bonus point from the Brumbies. That's the way the scoreline finishes. Both sides wanted to keep playing. The Brumbies were chasing that bonus point try, and the Force, I guess, is trying to chase some more points for their fans, but neither can get it done. I was a bit there was a big maul from the Force right at the death, and it collapsed 1 meter out from the Brumbies line, and the ref ruled that it was the Force who brought it down, which seems like madness unless they just lost control of it. What kind of maul would want to bring itself down 1 meter from the opposition line when they're steaming forwards? The Force guys were kind of incredulous, and I was a bit surprised. But yeah. Stats. Possession 58-42, territory 58-42 in the Force's favour, but you look at the clean breaks, man, 10-1 in the Brumbies' favour. The Brumbies are just sharp, and their defence was tackling at 92%, which is test match level. The Force were at 83, which for Super Rugby is okay. Yeah, that's a difference in the sides at the minute. Run meters 337 to 508 in the Brumbies' favour. Penalties conceded was pretty high, 13-15, with the Brumbies conceding a couple more. The lineouts were pretty impressive, both sides. The Force on the money, 18 from 18. The Brumbies, 15 from 16. So for a first game, pretty solid. The Force had more knock-ons, 8-6. Defenders beaten 25-18 in the Brumbies' favour. So, yeah, man, the Brumbies are a good team. There's no shame in losing to them for the Force. The Brumbies, you guys are rightly the favourites. Your team looks very good. Midfield looks good. Lolosio looked good. Nick White looked really good. So, yeah, happy days. For the Force, is obviously, honestly, I thought they looked better when Pryor and Lance were replaced. When McIntyre and Kubeli came on. So, I don't know. We'll see how they work things out. Individuals, Koteka had 16 out of 17 tackles. Neville had 24 out of 25. He had a really good shift. Ikitau and Simone both had 4 defenders beaten each. Likewise did Rob Carney. He was the best of the bunch for the Force. You could see both sides trying to adapt to the rules, the laws, going for 50-22s. A few goal line dropouts in this game, so neither side was too hesitant just to kick it long into the other side's goal area. Yeah, overall, there was a bit of cramp, guys not quite 100% match fit, but if these two games, I know neither game has been within 7 points, so both sides have been relatively comfortable victories. But if these two games this weekend or this Friday have been kind of the standard of where we were at, and it's going to get better throughout the competition, I'm pretty optimistic for this competition and that it's going to be a bit of fun. So, Yeah, hopefully I can avoid copyright strikes if I call this video reviewing Force versus Brumbies Super Rugby AU, because Sandar didn't like that on the live stream, but we will see. If you didn't know, I got a copyright strike for that video yesterday, although they retracted it, so fingers crossed. I'm not trying to steal your views, Sanzar. I want to talk about the game. Hopefully promote the game. Get more people talking about the game. We love the game. Anyway, the Force have got a bye next week. Give them a chance to work on things. The Brumbies are at home to the Tars. And based on this result and the other result, the Tars may be in for a pretty long night because the Brumbies are looking really good. Anyway, you guys let me know your thoughts. Talk to you guys again soon. See you later.